Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're just going to let a few more people come in, and then we'll be getting started in just a moment. Thank you so much for joining us. If you don't mind muting yourself, that would be great. And we are looking forward to having you. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Liz Sun, who is here. Liz is going to start off our presentation today. Go right ahead, Liz.
Okay, great. Good afternoon. My name is Liz Sun, and I serve as one of the Mid-Hudson Clean Energy Communities coordinators with the Hudson Valley Regional Council for the NYSERDA Clean Energy Communities program. And I'm here today to give you a short overview of how you can get credit for your campaign in the CEC program. First, a little bit about the Hudson Valley Regional Council. So we are one of 9 regional councils in New York State and one of over 600 nationally. We provide technical assistance to municipalities across various programmatic areas listed here. We pride ourselves in providing impartial, transparent, and informative technical support to local governments. Please feel free to reach out to us on any of these areas. Since 2021, the leadership round of the Clean Energy Communities program offers flexible grant funding for clean energy projects with no local cost share. I, along with my colleague Eleanor, are the Clean Energy Communities coordinators that provide technical support to governments in providing resources and toolkits to help you pursue different clean energy, high impact actions. Since the launch of this program, over 850 communities are participating and 500 have been designated. Communities are able to access 3 different types of grant funding through designation, point-based, and action awards. These grants amounts range from $5,000 to more than $250,000, depending on the actions that are done and the size of the community. Altogether, there's about 24 actions, and now even more, nested within the 14 high impact action categories. Each action has a different set of points that can be awarded for completing an action, along with other grants associated with it, including community campaigns. So as of June of this year, there have been some updates to the community campaigns actions, including new and increased number of grants available for 3 types of community campaigns: solar, electric vehicles, and clean heating and cooling. They have also added additional achievement levels 2 and 3 for these types that allow for additional points and funding opportunities. They had also removed demand response as a campaign type, the energy efficiency option for clean heating and cooling campaigns, and solar for all for community solar. With the new community campaigns achievement levels, municipalities can earn up to 33,800 points and $290,000. Sorry, that's a handful to say. So in general, for the new levels, communities, customers and participant counts are not cumulative between achievement levels. New customers and participants must be recorded in accordance with the minimum threshold level, which is listed in these tables. The tiers must also be completed in order, so starting with level 1, then 2 and 3. To submit for levels 2 and 3, your projects or subscriptions must have been completed after June 1st of this year. Communities that have previously achieved a level 1 are not eligible for an additional award. I just see a question in the chat. Should I answer that now or wait to the end?
Let's wait till the end. I think Fiona's question might be answered in your next slides, and if not, we'll get to them.
Okay, sounds good. To get credit for your CEC community campaign, you'll first need to submit a scoping document to the NYSERDA portal. We can help you assist with completing the scoping document, and this must occur before the campaign starts. Once that has been completed, you will again submit documentation at the end of your campaign. This must include a list of customers and some evidence showing the municipality participated in the campaign. If you are applying for a level 2 or 3 campaign, you do not need to submit a new scoping document. And then NYSERDA will approve your campaign if it meets the criteria. This screenshot shows the number of action grants that remain available as of this month. It's only a screenshot of the clean heating and cooling campaign. There's still a lot available as well for EVs and solar. This shows the amount of point-based grants remaining as of this year, or sorry, as of this month. Many of the higher point-based grants for small and medium communities have unfortunately run out. But if you are a community that have not reached 3,000 points, you're still eligible for the $10,000 grant. If, again, you are a smaller medium community, and then large communities can still reach the $30,000 for the 3,000 points, as well as the 4,000 point and 5,000 points. Once you've been notified that you're eligible for a grant award, you'll need to submit a grant project proposal. This would occur after you have finished your level 1. So all of those action grants are only $5,000. For a level 2 and a level 3 is when you'll get above the 5,000. So you'll need to complete a grants proposal. And these are some of the pre-approved project types. In general, the pre-approved project types also are quicker than a custom project. So make sure to look through the workbook to understand what are the different requirements. We have a grants project guide if you need some ideas on how you want to spend this money. This is a screenshot of the grant project ideas for awards greater than 5,000. And then this one shows some ideas for if you're given a $5,000 one. Okay, and then I will pass it over to Eleanor.
Thanks, Liz. So this is a slide describing how Hudson Valley Regional Council can help with campaigns. We have always helped, if you need help drafting a scoping document or understanding the requirements of campaigns, we would be able to help with that. We can also connect with partners who can help, and we've been doing that as much as we can in the past. And we're going to have slides from our partners in just a moment. But we are also trying to help more with campaigns now because of this new funding. We want to make sure all our communities are able to take advantage of these new campaigns. And so we are going to be creating brochures and other materials. We have been gathering lists of contractors, community solar contractors. We're working on an HVAC contractor list right now. Who are willing to help with clean energy communities campaigns and who have answered a bunch of questions that we've posed to them. We're also planning soon to start a cohort of municipalities to guide groups through this process at once. That's our plan. We're working on it. Hopefully in the next few weeks, we'll have more information on that for you. And so we have a list of partners who have told us that they're willing and eager to help with clean energy communities campaigns. And we also have some case studies with how those partners have helped with campaigns in the past. So right now, I'm first going to turn it over to Carolyn Clocker from Cornell Cooperative Extension, Dutchess County, to talk about the Mid-Hudson Regional Clean Energy Hub.
Thanks, Eleanor. Hi, everyone. My name is Carolyn Clocker. I'm the Environment and Energy Program Leader at Cornell Cooperative Extension in Dutchess County. I, along with my colleague, Colin Adkins, who wasn't able to join us today, co-direct the Regional Clean Energy Hub, which I am going to tell you about in a moment. But for those of you who are unfamiliar with Cornell Cooperative Extension, the mission of Extension is to put knowledge to work in pursuit of economic vitality, ecological sustainability, and social well-being. So we bring local experience and research-based solutions together helping New York State families and communities thrive in our rapidly changing world. And in addition to the Regional Clean Energy Hub, the Environment and Energy Program at Cornell Cooperative Extension in Dutchess County does a lot of work around climate resilience. We collaborate with CCE associations in the region to help support municipalities in becoming more resilient through the Climate Smart Communities program. And we also do a lot of local work in Dutchess County around land use planning and natural resource management in partnership with our county planning department. Next slide, please. So the Regional Clean Energy Hub is a program of NYSERDA that is intended to build capacity at the local level by developing a network of trusted organizations and resources to connect community members to clean energy and related programs and resources. So this includes providing residents, small businesses, and affordable housing owners with a focus on underserved communities. We work to provide them the support that they need to learn about and access the energy efficiency and clean energy programs that are available to them all through New York State. And then most importantly, it also includes advancing solutions to address local barriers that these audiences face in accessing clean energy programs and engaging in the clean energy economy. So on the slide, you can see examples of what that means, the types of services that the hubs may provide. So this can be a home energy assessment and how that information will be useful to a client. It could include sharing information about electric vehicles and charging stations, helping and assisting folks finding a qualified contractor, and much more. Next slide, please. So the hubs are designed to support the state's broader cleaner energy and energy equity goals at the local level, and are a critical mechanism for helping the state achieve the Climate Act goal of ensuring that 35% of the benefits associated with the clean energy and energy efficiency investments are realized in historically underserved communities, or as New York State has been referring to them as disadvantaged communities. Next slide, please. So the Mid-Hudson Regional Clean Energy Hub is a collaboration of Cornell Cooperative Extension Dutchess County, as well as the 6 other Cornell Cooperative Extension associations in the region, Sustainable Westchester, and New Yorkers for Clean Power. As a hub, we collectively collaborate to utilize our knowledge and experience about clean energy, energy efficiency, workforce development, education, health, and housing to help individuals, affordable housing owners, and small business owners with making informed energy decisions, reducing energy usage and costs, and benefiting from clean energy technology. Next slide, please. So essentially, our goal as the Mid-Hudson Regional Clean Energy Hub is to meet people where they are in their communities, bringing our experience and our knowledge to them. We want to be we want for the folks that we work with to have easy access within your community, and essentially work to eliminate any barriers you or residents may be facing in accessing services and participating in the programs that are available to you throughout New York State. For the Mid-Hudson region, this includes providing each county in the region an energy advisor to support our audiences. Whether someone is looking to save money, reduce their energy burden, make their home or business safer and more comfortable, or are interested in doing their part to help the environment, energy advisors can walk people through every step of the process in order to connect them with the programs and services they need to reach their specific energy-related goals. And energy advisors in our hub do this by taking a holistic approach to supporting the folks we work with. So this includes assisting our main audiences, again, which are individuals, small businesses, and nonprofits, in accessing the programs that help provide them with a free or reduced cost energy audit. So the goal of starting folks off oftentimes with an energy audit, if they've never had one, is to help them better understand their energy usage, whether that's their home or the building they work in, find out where there are inefficiencies, and work to prioritize which inefficiencies to address to save both energy and money, while improving the comfort of their home and building. And it's really important, as I'm sure you all know, to start with those energy efficiency measures, things as insulation, as well as many other energy efficiency practices, so that when folks are ready to move on to those renewable heat options and or solar options, they're creating systems that utilize less electricity and can have a system put into their home, whether again it's a clean heating option or a solar option that is properly sized to those reduced needs. So energy advisors are able to help folks navigate all of these steps and the complexity of their particular individual situation. Next slide, please. So what does that mean for your community and specifically your clean energy community campaign? So our team would love to work with you and support your campaigns as you work to engage audiences in your community about clean energy technologies. Energy advisors can support residents who are interested in taking that next step and filling in any of the support gaps that your campaign may not have the capacity to provide. So again, this may be helping folks out with energy efficiency programs. It may be helping them figure out what types of wraparound services that they may need in order to be approved for these energy efficiency programs or other clean heating programs. And as I mentioned earlier, we have an energy advisor that supports each county in the region, whose contact information that we will share with you and that you can share with interested individuals who may need more of that one-on-one help to access these programs. This also includes energy advisors who are fluent or conversational in Spanish, so that if that's a need that individuals who come to you through your campaign may need, we can help provide that assistance. We also have materials that are available both in Spanish and English that outline the support that we're able to provide residents and that you can share as part of your campaign. We can get those materials to you so that you can share them out. There are also times when energy advisors may be available and have the capacity to provide presentations as part of some of your outreach efforts. And I'm going to give you an example in the next slide of how we were able to partner with a county and provide them similar type of support so that you can kind of get a vision of what that might look like. There also in the next month, we're going to be starting up a regional assessment and barriers analysis process for our work. So through this process, we're going to be looking for stakeholder input on the barriers that exist for various audiences, perhaps audiences in your community, to participate in the clean energy economy in the region. And so look for more information on that, and we would love to work with you and have your input on that assessment and barriers analysis. And as our program and our work continues to grow in the region, there will likely be additional opportunities for the hub to support your efforts. Specifically, we're going to have more information once we complete that needs assessment process and how we will be moving forward to support community campaigns in the future. Next slide, please. So this is an example of Ulster County's or of a way we have supported a similar campaign in the past, Ulster County Solarize campaign. And I did notice that Sean Walsh, one of our lead energy advisors, is on the call, and so I may ask him for any additional details that I have forgotten. But essentially, Sean worked with the Ulster County Department of Environment, who leaded this campaign effort for Ulster County, and was able to provide them some support throughout their campaign process. Part of that included a presentation at their outreach events on Solar for All. Solar for All is a program that is available to low-income residents in the region that allows them to participate in a solar campaign without receiving a third-party bill. He also shared his contact information and was able to be a resource. His contact information was listed on their campaign website and was a resource to anybody interested in this holistic approach that we're able to provide as support. So energy efficiency measures, as well as other clean energy options. And so Ulster County staff were able to refer anyone who contacted them about the Solarize campaign who were also interested in other measures to be taken. So that's just kind of a quick example of how we may be able to provide some support to your community campaigns, utilizing this example of how Sean provided support to Ulster County. Next slide, please. So this is the contact information. You are going to get this slide deck with all of the folks' contacts, but as I mentioned, there is an energy advisor that supports each county in the region. The energy advisors are staffed by either Cornell Cooperative Extension associations or Sustainable Westchester. So Sustainable Westchester covers Westchester for our region and has 2 actual energy advisors able to support folks in a similar way that Cornell Cooperative Extensions support energy advisors in the other counties. But know that we all work collaboratively and to get together. So if you reach out or one of the residents from your campaigns reaches out to an energy advisor in another county, they'll make sure that the correct energy advisor gets all that information and can respond to them, as well as multiple of our energy advisors are fluent in Spanish, as I mentioned before. So we'll make sure if Spanish is the native language to some of the folks you're working with, we'll connect them to one of our energy advisors who are fluent in Spanish. And that's.
Thank you, Carolyn. All right, next up we have Sustainable Westchester.
Hi, everybody. This is Lauren Broyce from Sustainable Westchester here. Happy to see you all on the call. We did a similar call last week for Westchester people, so this I think is going to be a good next step. So for those that don't know, Sustainable Westchester is a nonprofit organization, and Liz, I've got a lot of slides so you could just flip on through. We are a membership-based organization, so pretty much every single municipality in Westchester County, along with Westchester County government, is a member of our organization. And we're going to be talking a little bit about our Energy Smart Homes program. So as you heard from Carolyn, we do receive funding as a from the Mid-Hudson Regional Clean Energy Hub to provide clean energy services to Westchester County residents. But through our Energy Smart Homes program, we are able to provide a little bit of extra support for clean energy communities. And over the past years, we've done a lot of that work. So I just want to share the resources. Go ahead, Liz. I want to share the resources that even if you're not in Westchester County, you may find useful as we do a clean heating and cooling community campaign. So just to be clear, if you're on the call, you are representing a Westchester municipality, we can help you with your clean energy community campaign for clean heating and cooling. If you're outside of Westchester, you're going to like the resources that we have to share. Okay, and I think Liz had reviewed this already, but just to get it all in our heads, because this is a big change from the past iteration of the program, the new campaigns for clean heating and cooling do not include home energy efficiency insulation. So the jobs that we're going to be counting in the clean heating and cooling campaigns are heat pumps only, and that's the air source heat pump, ground source heat pump, and heat pump hot water heater. And the next slide, I think, is helpful. Again, it's just remembering what are those level 1, level 2, level 3 goals, and what type of money can that bring in for you. So I'm still trying to commit this to memory, and I hope by the time I memorize it, the funding rates are all still the same. But There is great money on the table. If you've done a campaign before, that's awesome. You've already completed level 1, and then you'll start right away with level 2. Or if you've never done a community campaign before, you'll start on level 1. So for a small community, that's $5,000 for 5 installations. A large community over 40,000, that's $15,000 for 10 installations. And I have this slide to say, this is a big lift. If you're going to achieve a level 3 campaign of 15 installations or 30 installs, it's going to take a while. It's not a 2-month-long campaign. This is going to be months or even years long. So the resources we have to share can help you throughout the duration of the campaign. And the home energy upgrade process is, as you're looking at the clean heating and cooling community campaign paperwork, you'll see the process is for people to come in, sign up for that home energy assessment or the site visit, pick a contractor, tapping into the different rebates and incentives that exist from the federal government, New York State, local utilities, and so on. And then hopefully we see people being happy in their cleaner and quieter, more comfortable homes. Okay, so the thing that Energy Smart Homes is able to bring to the community campaigns that makes it a little bit easier is we have the list of contractors pre-selected. So you, if you're close to Westchester, certainly can reach out to some of these contractors, but also know if you're outside of Westchester, NYSERDA does have a list of partner contractors for their Comfort Home program. And also for the local utility, they will have a list of partner contractors to do installs. And soon we'll be having that information too from Hudson Valley Regional Council. So if you're getting worried about selecting a contractor, just know we're happy to speak about how we found our contractors, and there are these other lists that exist out there. So the contractors are already participating in different rebate programs, and that's who you'll want to target to bring into your community campaign. Okay, and you just heard from Carolyn how it's important to make use of your regional clean energy hub. Here's a photo of the energy advisors from the other counties. So definitely make use of these folks. They can help be the person to speak to the homeowners and help them figure out what programs, what rebates are out there. So even if you're tabling at a community event and you're talking about your clean heating and cooling campaign, you can have the phone number for the energy advisors handy, and you could be sending that out to the people in the community. And then another piece of homeowner support on the next slide is the New Yorkers for Clean Power Clean Energy Coaches. This is a great resource to make use of, and you're going to be hearing from Joe later on a separate topic, but we're all connected here. We're all trying to help. So this is a free resource. People can sign up for energy advising appointments with these really awesome energy coaches, and this is a perfect thing to fold into your own community campaign for clean heating and cooling. And then here are the resources that you may want to use based off of when you offer your campaign and what your campaign is going to look like. But on the Sustainable Westchester website, there's a ton of info broken down by technology. So you can see all 4 of the different technologies. Even though the insulation projects aren't being counted as completed jobs any longer, I would advise for people to still advertise home energy efficiency. It's an important part of the process. So we have all the info about that. You could see this chart is very tiny on the right here, but Lauren Kay, who's also on the call, just updated these for the new rebates starting in September. So we have rebate sheets that inventory each of the incentives per the local utility, per the state, and so on. So that's a resource for you to check out. We also have homeowner testimonial videos and case studies that you could definitely post on your own websites. And then this marketing resources inventory, I will put a link to this in the chat, or maybe Lauren, you could do that now. This resource inventory is a list of all the marketing materials that we have. It also includes the PDF case studies, the YouTube videos of testimonials, the finance and rebate sheets, everything is in this Google Doc. It's a Google Doc that's inventorying all the files that are in our community toolkit. You're welcome to use these materials. And these are just some pictures of what you'll find in the resource inventory. There's homeowner profiles, different flyer templates, some NYSERDA resources that are still useful, like the warmer, cooler, cheaper, comfier. So that's there. And then just some inspiration as you're thinking about doing a clean heating and cooling community campaign. This is something to have a lot of fun with. But people are asking questions about Inflation Reduction Act. How can they reduce drafts? You know, they want to get off fossil fuels. So when your group is promoting this campaign, it's really answering a question that a lot of folks have. And it's really just awesome to be in the community. This is a picture of our house mascot Comfy at a Coffee with Cops event, different farmers market tabling, and just simply hanging up flyers on those community bulletin boards makes a huge difference. I think more inspiration on the next slide. This is a little segment about a house tour. During COVID, we were having virtual house tours, but before that, we were doing in-person house tours. So if anyone has been on the Pollinator Pathway garden tour, folks open up their homes, they get put on a map, and other visitors can come and chat with them. So in the past, we've done this in different communities. We've set it up so the contractors are actually at the homes and the homeowners are there. People tour inside, they can see the equipment, and it's just a really lovely day. Sometimes people go to all the homes on the list. Sometimes they just pick based off what technology they're interested in. So this is a big lift, having a virtual home energy tour or an in-person home energy tour. But, you know, if you're thinking about doing a campaign that's going to stretch over 12 months, even maybe more, the house tour could be a fun idea. Okay. And then also we can collaborate on things. So we might not collaborate on house tours, but we could certainly do webinars together. So Sustainable Westchester has pre-organized webinars. We've got the dates figured out. We'd be happy for your group to join on to the webinar. We can promote it in different places and we all come to the same spot online. Climate Solutions Week is coming up in September. That's Hudson Valley Regional who's the sponsor? Oh, Hudson Valley Climate Solutions Week. Melissa, you're the sponsor.
Really? Yes, I'll talk about and
perfect
on as well.
Yep. So that's a great thing to join in and just kind of benefit from the shared marketing. And just some other ideas, throwing them out there as you think about a campaign. Some community groups have hosted really fun launch parties. They've found a cool spot in their neighborhood, if it's a movie theater or a local bar. They've invited the contractors and had a campaign kickoff. So lots of options out there, even having Tupperware parties, but instead it's a home energy assessment party and people get to see the blower door set up and have a good neighborhood conversation. So have fun with it and feel free to reach out to us with any questions. And now we're going to hear from Nicole in Pleasantville. Nicole is a village trustee and they completed their clean heating and cooling campaign a few months ago.
Thank you, Lauren. Yes, I can't say enough about how helpful Sustainable Westchester and Hudson Valley Regional Council have been to us. We've done a few NYSERDA campaigns now, and you guys have been great. So for the clean heating and cooling campaign, it actually, submitting the campaign to NYSERDA actually turned out to be not a very arduous process, but it's something that we're continuing to engage in. And I'm excited that there are now, there's now a level 2 and a level 3, so that that gives us an extra incentive. But I'll speak first to the campaign part of it, as it were, and then briefly about actually sort of submitting the documentation and what's required with that. So in terms of getting the word out, you see there, that's a sort of flyer that we put up in our local newspaper. As I'm sure all of you are aware, it's important to get the information out in as many different ways as possible because people get their information in so many different ways now. I would say probably the most impactful thing we did, however, is that we organized a couple of public events. We had one in particular at our local library that we did in conjunction with the town of Mount Pleasant, which encompasses the village of Pleasantville. And we had our local energy coach, Bob Feischman, was there. We invited you guys. Lauren, I don't know if you guys ended up being there or not. There were some of the contractors that Sustainable Westchester recommends were there as well. And because the process of making changes to the home can be pretty involved, particularly when it comes to something like geothermal, people have lots and lots of questions. And so the room was packed, and it was really interesting to hear the kind of questions that people had and the kind of feedback that they were interested in. We hosted a second event that was less well attended, but we've had a video, we recorded it, and people have been sort of asking us to see the video. That one was more focused on the process of getting a home energy audit and then the kinds of actions that homeowners can take subsequently. And this is an ongoing process. We're going to be doing more events now that the fall is coming. This seems to be, the best time of year to make people aware of the process of getting a home energy audit and of the kinds of changes they can make towards clean heating and cooling. So in terms of the requirements for the campaign, so for our municipality, since we're a small municipality, we had to have, I think, 5 installations. And what we found to be really effective is to work with our building inspector because he was aware of everything that was happening. And I've spoken to people at the town level. They did a similar thing. I think there it was a little bit trickier because the building department is super busy. There's a lot going on. But at least here we found it to be very effective to work with the building inspector. And we found that, there were a lot of projects already happening. And so that made it very easy for us to clear the hurdle of the first level of this campaign. So I think we will do that. I mean, so I've heard that some towns work with local contractors. That's another way that you can go about it to find out, what kind of installations are taking place. And I don't know if someone has experience with that, but I've heard that can be a little bit hit or miss, whereas in our case, the working with the building department was really very effective. So that's, that's about it. If anybody has questions at the end, I'm happy to answer them.
Thanks, Nicole. Thanks, Lauren. Excellent. All right, next up. Here's Lauren's contact information. Next up, we have Sustainable Putnam. Joe, you're up.
Thank you, Eleanor, and thanks for having Sustainable Putnam and all of our partners on board here. So, Sustainable Putnam is a local nonprofit and based primarily in Putnam County. You could jump to the next slide. These are our mission statements and a little bit more about what we do. We've been working for the past 3 years since we were founded on clean energy community campaigns in several Putnam communities. We do consultations with municipalities, with residents, with small businesses, primarily regarding clean energy projects. We have a number of other projects and workshops that we conduct for residents, publicly available resources on our website, and we've partnered with all of these organizations that are on the webinar today, and many others with a special focus on low and moderate income households. Next slide, please. So Sustainable Putnam has worked primarily on community solar projects, and as far as the clean energy community campaigns go. And so I just want to take a quick moment to explain community solar for those that aren't as familiar with it. There's a lot of confusion out there about it, and community solar requires no installations. There's no cost to the consumer to sign up for community solar. And essentially, you're basically telling your utility that you, as a customer, as a utility customer, that you want to connect your utility account to a solar farm within New York State, and specifically within your utilities region. And once that happens, the utility connects your account, and then you get credit for the amount of solar electricity that's produced and put into the grid. It's really pretty simple as far as the consumer is concerned. And then on their utility bill, that consumer will see credits for the solar electricity produced at a discounted rate from the utility charges. So 10% is typical. So, every month you're going to see a certain number of solar credits, and they vary somewhat seasonally, of course, more in the summer, less in the winter. Any excess credits get banked and deducted from later bills. So it's a total win for the consumer. There's no risk involved. You're guaranteed that discounted rate, again, typically 10%. But there is a lot of confusion about it. So it takes a lot of explanation. And that's something that organizations like Sustainable Putnam tend to put a lot of our focus on. Next slide, please. So we've helped 3 towns in Putnam County administer their campaigns, and they were quite successful. Kent, Phillipstown, and Putnam Valley. And Putnam Valley in particular, we signed up more than 90 people in just a couple of weeks. And it was the most successful campaign New York State had ever seen, at least up until that time, a couple of years ago. The process is really pretty simple. Once a town decides that, well, even before a town decides that they want to do it, Sustainable Putnam can come to your town board, do a presentation, answer questions from the community, answer questions from your board members and your supervisor. And then if the town decides to go forward with the project, then they would basically pass a resolution in support of it, saying, yes, this is something that we would like to help promote. And then from there, Sustainable Putnam can either run the entire campaign for the town, or we can collaborate and divide up the responsibilities however you'd like to work that out. And we'd also be getting support from our solar partner, which currently is Power Market. I see Brad Tito is on the call today from Power Market, but we have worked with other providers in the past, and they've been great with providing support as well, financial, in terms of promotional materials and advertising and so forth. Next slide, please. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Let's go back to the previous slide, if you would, Liz. Thanks. I forgot that we actually have Ann Campbell on the call today from Kent. She's a Kent Town Council member. And Ann, if you're there, if you could jump in and just talk a little bit about Kent's experience with your campaign.
Sure, I'll be brief. When this first started for us, I was not yet on the board. I was part of our Climate Smart committee, and it really, what galvanized us was the work of Sustainable Putnam, that we decided we wanted to try to go ahead and launch a campaign in our town. We also had looked at community choice aggregation, but our town board was nowhere near ready to have something that would be so broad-based that people would have a sense in a way that they didn't have a choice, even though they did. So the community solar was a much easier lift for us, because it just requires a number of individuals who say, yes, I really want to have solar power coming to my house. So that was a lot more straightforward. Sustainable Putnam did a lot in the way of providing materials for us, website, vetting out possible vendors and so forth. And then we did a press release. We did some tabling at Community Day and so forth. put things on our website, put up signs at our recycling center. And in a short period of time, we were able to sign up over 50 participants. Now, a couple of things we've learned since then. First of all, I should say that Hudson Regional Council was also very helpful. At the time, we were casting about trying to find a way to be able to fund doing our greenhouse gas inventories. And at that point, we had a town board that was not supportive of paying the match on a grant for that. So and I think it was Eleanor said, you just need to run a community campaign. So we put 2 and 2 together and did that. And then once we qualified for the funding, we actually put together a grant proposal to have our greenhouse gas inventories done through a program at Vassar College with a faculty summer research program with students. And that actually worked out beautifully, and our inventories got done. The other thing I've learned is that if you don't promote it, they don't sign up. So it's gone dark since then. We haven't had new signups, and I think we are ready to restart. We'll be working with Joe in the near future to get that going. So I'd be happy to answer any questions, but that's basically how it went for Kent. And again, amazing support that made this possible for us. Thanks.
Thank you, Ann. So this is a breakdown. This is not written in stone, but just to give you an idea of some of the things that Sustainable Putnam can do for a campaign in the left-hand column, and what the municipality's role is on the right-hand side. And as you can see, I think this is a big selling point. I know that town officials are very busy people, and so the more burden we can take off of you to run the campaign for you, if that's the way you'd like to conduct it, we're more than happy to help with the lift. But obviously we're flexible on that. But at a minimum, the municipality passes the resolution, as I mentioned earlier, and then, provides use of their logo, maybe a quote from the town supervisor or a board member or a climate smart, task force coordinator. A few other details, and put a link on your town website or county website, and you're good to go. But as Ann mentioned, the more publicity you put into it, the better. So, if you issue a press release, which we can also help with, we can write for you and, run it by you. If you can promote the campaign on your town social media accounts, at town events, and again, we're happy to, help with those. The more you do, the better. I think getting the word out is critical, and, being able to answer their questions, through Sustainable Putnam's website, all of that really helps a lot. So that's essentially all I have to add. So I guess I'll pass it back to you, Eleanor.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Ann. Next up is Melissa Everett from Sustainable Hudson Valley.
Okay, great. And you and I are going to tag team a little bit in terms of how we've worked on EVs. But yeah, I think everybody kind of knows what we do. And I have to say, I actually took seriously really short. So I'm going to be really short. But anyway, our mission, we are the Climate Hawk organization. We've been kind of forging, hacking with the machete, learning how to do these new things. So mission is to speed up, scale up, jazz up, and leverage progress against climate change, creating communities where people and nature thrive. And this cover photo is pre-launched the first Solarize Hudson Valley campaign in fall 2015, I believe. And so we did a 3-year Solarize program under contract to NYSERDA in a very, very different kind of funding climate and structure. We had a staff of 2. We had a 6-member Energy Corps intern team assisting, and we got about 400 solar signups before there. About 380 of them were before there was community solar. So we were actually brokering home rooftop solar purchases and leases. And, we got pretty good at community-based social marketing, which is the jargon for what it is that we all do. You know, using the social dynamics, helping to overcome barriers, make things more convenient, message, you know, effectively and so forth. Next slide. And so we have, you know, the major things we've done in this domain, we've kind of tried to be working where other people aren't. So as the Climate Smart and Clean Energy community programs have matured and the regional council has moved into this coordinating role, we've been kind of hovering and experimenting, I would say. And I'm going to talk about two categories of things that you know we can offer as a result these days. One is subject matter expertise, and then the other is kind of process tools. So, you know, we after Solarize, we did a small project with NYSERDA called Drive Electric Hudson Valley, and have kept that branding up there. Have done, you know, charger placements, some dozens of them early on, training dealerships in how to sell EVs, which has been historically scary for them. We did one Heat Smart campaign just as we were all kind of crashing into the pandemic. It was not our most successful project. But we, you know, have resourced quite a few communities in terms of, you know, EV just ride and drives and those kinds of events. And that would be teeing up Eleanor to tell, you know, that story a bit.
I went too far here on my slides.
You go too far.
Oh, geez. Now we
No,
don't
it's
even
fine.
know. Here we go. Okay. So Sustainable Hudson Valley helped the city of Beacon with our EV campaign. For those of you who don't know, in a previous life, I worked for the city of Beacon as their climate smart coordinator. So I helped run this EV campaign when it happened. We partnered with Phillipstown, Marbletown, and Sustainable Hudson Valley. We hosted a big EV test drive event with a local dealer. We partnered with that same local dealer. They have a wide selection of electric vehicles. And after the event, we received a list of purchases in our zip code with addresses from the dealer for months afterwards until we reached that threshold to receive the NYSERDA funding. So that was 5. We had to have 5 EVs purchased in our zip code. This is the flyer that Sustainable Hudson Valley helped create. This is my husband and crazy child with her tongue out. And this is how we partnered with Sustainable Hudson Valley and how I think communities might want to work with Melissa's organization moving forward. Sustainable Hudson Valley gave us guidance. They helped tell us what to request from the dealer. They connected us with the dealer because they had been interested in helping other communities previously. They connected us with other interested municipalities like Marbletown and Phillipstown, and actually Orange County was part of it earlier. They helped with marketing and outreach, creating those beautiful, that beautiful flyer like I just showed you. And they tabled at our event and provided the clean power guide that they put out each year. So we were grateful for their help. And yeah, if anyone wants to work on an EV campaign, I think we'd be happy to talk through how we did it and how we might be able to help moving forward.
That's great. Thank you very much, Eleanor. And I think if you could go back to my second slide, I think there were 40 test drives. I'm not sure how many sales resulted, but you know, the secret sauce is do it at a big community festival where there are people already there. And you know, supply chain issues are plaguing us still, but we can, you know, figure out where the cars are. One of the projects we've done periodically when we have, you know, an intern that needs an assignment basically is we have gone through, we have a list of all the car dealerships in the Hudson Valley, and we look up what inventory they actually have. So if there were like a critical mass on EV interest, we would try to do that. You know, just to say, as far as background goes, we have put a lot of work in the last couple of years into creating a regional climate action roadmap and toolkit with about 90 stakeholders that's going through, you know, energy, transportation, buildings, agriculture, all the areas of climate action. And what do we really need to do to implement the New York climate law? And so as a result, we can backstop you just in terms of understanding the law, the scoping plan. I wrote a book 3 editions of a book that I'm dying to put out again because it was before its time on green jobs called Making a Living While Making a Difference. So we can do those presentations. The Clean Power Guide is an annual publication with Chronogram magazine, and you can find it on upstatehouse.com right on the top menu. It's a tabloid. We print 10,000 copies. They, you can get bundles of them, and it's just very consumer facing. It's things like, what questions do you ask when you're test driving an EV, or, how do you comprehend the difference between community solar and CCA? And, we are also putting together for Climate Solutions Week, which I'll talk about in a minute, a speakers bureau. Dorna Schroeder is helping with that. Any of you who would like to be included on it, let us know. But that is a resource if you would like to kind of help your community get woke up and energized on this stuff. It's a really good time, next slide, for that to happen in coordination, because Climate Solutions Week is coming up in just a month. And if you are doing an event already, please put into the chat what you're doing, because I know there's some cool stuff going on. Christopher Babcock, Chris O, is our outreach coordinator. He's on this call. And he is just the most organized person on God's green earth. And we love him, and he can really, just help support any event that you might do. And they're going to range from, talks on electrification to, EV rallies to, there's a curated set of theater performances called Soon Is Now that Eve Morgenstern is doing for the 3rd year at Long Dock Park. So we've had 40 events. We've gotten onto WAMC and some other radio, and we're really pushing to break through in terms of media by helping everybody to collaborate. September 16th through 24th. Other things that we would like to offer, these couple that I mentioned, we haven't done, but we've done the pieces of them in our own campaigns. A design workshop. If you want to really do a creative dive for an hour or two with your team on how you're going to do that creative outreach that was mentioned, we would love to sit with you on that. And for climate action planning more broadly, you've got all the technical resources in the world between the Regional Council and Cornell and others on this call. But we're thinking that imagination is the place where there's the greatest need to kind of help people uncork their creativity, and think about how do we not just take the next small step, but how do we see our way to what we've got to get done by 2030? The enormity and ambition of the work. So towns that want to play in that arena, we would like to work with you. And, one of the actions that is now sort of commonplace as an innovative action is the Repair Cafe, which we host. We are pretty knowledgeable on green economy and also working with New Yorkers for cool refrigerant management on, they've got a model called the Coolest Recycling Drive. They did it in Warwick, and they collected something like 40 refrigerant containing appliances. And they want to do a bunch of those in the spring. So if you are, you've done the routine stuff and you're thinking about more innovative stuff, think of us as a potential resource. And that's what I've got.
Thank you, Melissa. Oops, this is not the slide. Okay, great. This is our, we created this sort of partner matrix to describe how each of these partners on this call have sort of said that they can assist your municipalities. I think there are probably other partners out there. If anyone, we'll put this on our website eventually, but if anyone else is a partner and wants to be on this, we would be glad to direct municipalities to you. And overall, if you would like to do one of these campaigns, if you're a small community, you can get up to 97,000. If you're a large community, you can get 290,000. So I would love to see so many of these campaigns happening in the Mid-Hudson to get money to fund sustainability projects. But now I'm going to open it up to questions. I know we've had a really active chat this whole time, but if anyone has a question, just feel free to jump in right now if you have something you want to ask.
Hello, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, it's Olga Anderson. I guess I have a kind of a question that pertains a lot to our village in Highland Falls and also to other municipalities in Orange County. We were hit pretty hard by the flood from about a month ago. And there's an enormous amount of effort right now being put into a rehabilitation and actual reconstruction of homes that were, deemed unlivable. People who are now homeless and facing the daunting prospect of putting their homes back together. So I guess my question is, how the heck, given the scale of that, could we possibly leverage some of the resources from the clean energy, regional clean energy hub? How can we manage something of that scale? It's not like we're going to knock on the door of one homeowner and sit down and have a nice warm conversation. I mean, this is a desperate situation, but it's also an opportunity. So I would like to be able to offer these clean energy solutions while our village is putting itself back together again. So I'm just wondering if, I know we're not going to solve this right now, but if I need to have conversations with certain people offline, then, please just let me know who I need to reach out to try to kind of scope out, a best practice for getting this done. I know RUPCO has a contract to work with our village. I don't know if we can do something through them, but I definitely want to see if we can take advantage of these clean energy resources for our reconstruction efforts.
So Olga, one of the things that I would recommend is that you reach out to, and I can connect with you and get their contact information to you. But Fernando Ahamada is our energy advisor in Orange County. He's gonna better know the resources and what's available specifically to Orange County to help these folks with all the various types of services. In addition to the NYSERDA programs that are available to them. But I also know Sean Welsh is on the call, and I'm wondering, Sean, if you would add anything to this response.
Sure. Thanks, Carolyn. There's some programs that may be able to help. It's going to be situational where the, energy efficiency programs can step in. So it's probably best, Olga, to connect folks, to Fernando. And we can try, home by home, building by building to do our best with what the programs can do. But of course, there's some other resources you can turn to with those folks too.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but the scale of this thing is just not something that we can really resolve, knocking on individual doors. We need some kind of a large scale approach to this. But I will talk to Fernando and see if we can come up with something.
But could I just interject, Olga? Has there been communication across towns to look at how can we leverage resources?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm not aware of that. I mean, we've just been dealing with what we've got on our own streets. The municipalities are broadly affected, both the town and the village, and dozens of homeowners. So it's a big thing. And I mean, I really don't want to minimize the pain that people are going through, but if they're going to rebuild, let's do it the best way possible. So that's, yeah, it's going to take a certain amount of sensitivity to get through this.
Yeah, I hear you. Let's talk offline.
Okay,
Thanks, everybody.
thank you.
I'm gonna stop sharing so we can see each other, and I'll go by whose hand I saw up first, which I think I saw Stacy's hand up first.
Hi, everybody. What a great group of people. It's just magnificent. I hope we can do this more often. My question has to do with heat pump installations, and I've been pushing for heat pumps for quite a while, and Amenia's not even in the campaign, you know, but I'd like to be. But what I've realized is installers that come, you know, they'll look around, take measurements, and they try to close the deal pretty quickly and say, look, if you don't do it by the end of this month, this rebate is going to go away, or that credit's going to go away. And my question is, where can I look to really get the information of what's available now to a homeowner, what is about to expire, what's going to come, you know, roll back in? Because it is frustrating. And if I'm going to push a campaign like this, I like to lessen frustration. So if anybody knows a resource that's very up to date, I'd appreciate that. That was my question.
Thank you, Stacy. Gosh, Carolyn, I feel like I came from the Mid-Hudson Energy Hubs could answer all.
Right. So this one is very tricky, Stacey, and you are not alone in feeling this frustration. But one of the things that the energy advisors really try to do, and it's difficult to say like there's a one-stop shop like website for all the various resources, but this is why a lot of what our energy advisors do is have these individual conversations with folks who are looking at what options are available to them, because a lot of this information is changing on a regular and frequent basis, but also because each individual homeowner's needs are going to be different based on the structure that they reside in, whether they live, whether they own the home, whether they rent, you know, whether their individual situation requires like that they need to get some wraparound services in order for the energy efficiency projects to be implemented in their residence, or whether they're talking about their own small business that they own or a nonprofit that they work for, those kinds of things. And so that's why we've worked really hard to make sure that we have an energy advisor in each county, because the resources that are available in a particular county can also be nuanced as well too, in addition to the New York State programs. I feel like this is very repetitive, but I would recommend that the first place you touch base with Stacy is Faith Ladonna, who is our Dutchess County Energy Advisor. There is some information also available on our website, MidHudsonEnergyChoices.com, but a lot of what we do is we gather information, contact information for the folks that we're trying to help through our website, so that an energy advisor can follow up with them individually and figure out the specifics and try to navigate these changing deadlines and changing incentives and resources that are available to them.
It's so important and very helpful. Thank you.
Right. Karen Barnes, I think you are next. Hello, Karen.
Yes, nice to see you, Eleanor.
Nice to see you too.
Good to be back in another year's funding. Actually, the question I have relates to a comment made by a person from Poughkeepsie. They received 2 grants for a solar array. So my question was, how much were each of the grants? I think you helped them with that, according to their chat post. And how big was the solar array? And that leads me into the question. We did a lot of research last year with your help, and the only funding we could find was a 35 cent a watt subsidy for our solar arrays. We'd still like to put solar arrays on a bunch of municipal buildings. So the Poughkeepsie case may be a lead that we haven't found yet. Thanks.
Yes. Susan, I'm not sure if you're still on, but maybe I'll start talking about the incentives, then you can explain how the solar array that Poughkeepsie got. But so Karen, Poughkeepsie finished a community solar campaign with NYSERDA through the Clean Energy Communities program, and they received $15,000 for that because they are a large community. They have over 40,000 people. So they used that, and they also received their designation grant from the Clean Energy Communities program at the same time. So that was another $5,000 from NYSERDA. So that $20,000 they were able to put towards a solar array on top of their water treatment plant. I was not holding out on you. I think I told you about the Clean Energy Communities funding when we were talking about how to fund your solar array. But it is, that's how they did it. Susan, I can't tell if you're still here to talk about the solar array.
The designation. Yeah, I knew about that. So it just that I saw grants. So I said, I start drooling when somebody says no or grant or something. Yes, you did give me that information. I just, any little scrap of information. And the 35 cents is about all that's available at this point.
Through New York Sun. Yeah, I'm not a super expert on that, but I believe so. There are Inflation Reduction Act federal solar incentives as well. I think that we talked about too, that municipalities can now take advantage of for the first time. Because of the direct pay option. Previously, nonprofits and municipalities weren't eligible for the federal solar tax credit, but now they are eligible as of 2023. So there is more funding out there this year, starting this year, for solar arrays for municipalities to own.
Yeah, what we turned up was one of our buildings. We have 4 we'd like to put panels on, but one was like 125,000. So it's a lot of money to outlay. The payback is maybe 5.5 years or so. After 25 years, it's like $400,000, but you got to start with a young person in the project to be able to count the money at the end.
Fair enough. All right. Dennis, I think you are next with your hand up.
Thank you very much. My question is a bit different. I want to, as I believe that you understand that sustainable energy and clean energy goes beyond solar power. Do you have any other grants for the other form of clean energy like geothermal and all others apart from solar?
Yes. So the clean heating and cooling campaigns cover geothermal energy for household geothermal systems, or also air source heat pump systems. So that would be a way to get funding for that. I also, it's called the Community Campaign for Community Solar, but it really covers all community distributed generation. And that includes if there's a small hydro system that is offering community distributed generation credits, then that also includes hydroelectric power. If you can find a hydro provider that's willing to work with you. I'll say I'm signed up for community hydro rather than community solar in the town next to me. And in terms of, I don't know of any, community wind projects, but those are sort of the renewable energy programs and also the electric vehicle campaign. That's the other thing. So those are the sort of renewable and clean energy programs that NYSERDA is providing campaign funding for. Does that help answer the question?
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Any other questions? We've got a few more minutes, or we could end early. It's up to you all. All right, go ahead.
Is there any funding from the, what is it, Inflation Reduction Act or the Infrastructure Act that relates to this?
That relates to community campaigns specifically?
Well, or basically, grants for solar arrays, whether it would be air source heat pumps or solar arrays or solar shingles and things like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I think actually I've seen some like the last thing in the chat, that rewiringamerica.org IRA calculator is a way for homeowners to actually determine which incentives from the IRA they're eligible for. I found it to be a pretty useful tool. Like that direct pay option, for municipalities to own solar that I was talking about earlier, that is also new funding that was through the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act. And there's also, gosh, I don't know, someone else want to help me out? There's got to be more that I'm missing that relates to this.
For solar, sorry.
Eleanor, there's another grant program that just came open recently that's in the state called CREST, C-R-E-S-T. And that is $100,000 that can be given to each municipality, basically through their state senator. And they can be used for anything that basically helps the world, including solar. So in Croton, we're already going after our 100,000 to bankroll a 200 kW solar installation.
Awesome. That's great.
Called CREST, CREST. I don't understand the whole acronym, but you need to talk to your state senator about it because it was just made available about a month ago.
Nice. Thank you, Lindsay. Lauren, did you want to? Oh, sorry, Melissa, go ahead.
I just threw something else in the chat, which is a really nice visual map of, it's from an organization called REAMP, but it's Inflation Reduction Act by eligible party and subject and some other, different kind of research terms.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. And Lauren, did you want to go before I call in Vanessa?
I don't think I have too much else to add, but the energy advisors and the hubs as well are pretty tuned into what's available now versus what's going to be available in the future as well. At the residential side right now, it's basically tax credits, but we're hoping that the point of sale rebates are going to be launching most likely early 2024.
I keep pushing it back. Vanessa.
Yeah, my question was really around if we're doing a community campaign, we're doing an event, say, and we want to have handouts for the attendees. Is there like a central place to go and kind of browse through what handouts have already been made instead of, reinventing the wheel?
Not right now. That's part of what HVRC is hoping to help everyone with as we undertake these campaigns. Sustainable Westchester has all of those great heat pump materials. Sustainable Hudson Valley has that fantastic Drive Electric website and lots of other materials. The hubs have their own materials, and our plan is to sort of gather them or point folks in the right direction. But we're still figuring that out and working that out. But there will be soon. Is my goal.
And actually, if I could just say our climate roadmap, there is, every section has a learn to act. And there is the final section, how do we get there from here? And we would love to pile in resources right there. That's an existing website. We can link to all this stuff if you just work.
Yeah, awesome. So one thing before I'll ask another question, but before we go, I just want to re-emphasize the most important thing. If you have any interest in doing one of these campaigns, is to talk to us and get your scoping document in, because you can't start counting installations or signups until you complete that scoping document. And HVRC is here to help you with that. Sustainable Westchester, if you're in Westchester, is also available to help. We have templates and we can help point you in the right direction. So that's really, you can fill that in now and start your campaign in a few months, and you'll have a nice buffer of signups maybe already done. So get that in as soon as possible so we can start getting you funding when you're ready. Carolyn.
So one thing that I realized after answering some questions in the chat as well too that I forgot to mention, and so my presentation focused on how we can support you when you're doing Clean Energy Communities campaign, but I just also wanted to make you aware that energy advisors can be resources, and we can share our materials to you all as you're just engaging with residents, say at a community day or any events that you're tabling for, whether you're part of your CAC or your climate smart communities task force, or you're just engaging with residents on these topics at some event that's even outside of your community campaign focused event. Let us know, and energy advisors may be able to come present and or table with materials, where we can share materials with you for you all to table with. So let us know about those types of events and ways we might be able to support your efforts as well too.
Last call for questions. All right. Well, please, we're going to share the recording, and we'll share the slides, and we'll share everyone that spoke, their contact information, and that matrix to show like, oh, who am I eligible to get help from out of this group of wonderful, amazing presenters. So we'll be in touch soon with that. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much to our presenters. And we're hoping to work with you all on campaigns moving forward. All right.
Great
Bye,
job,
everybody.